How does vicarious liability apply to surgical errors? Imagine going into surgery expecting expert care, only to face complications due to a mistake. When that happens, questions about responsibility often come up. Vicarious liability is a key concept here. It means that one party can be held responsible for the actions of another. In medical settings, this usually involves hospitals or clinics being responsible for the mistakes of their staff, including surgeons. This idea is based on the legal principle called respondeat superior, which means let the master answer. It suggests that employers should be accountable for their employees' actions during work. For vicarious liability to apply in surgical errors, there are a few important points. First, there must be an employer-employee relationship. If a surgeon is directly employed by a hospital, then the hospital can be held responsible for any errors made during surgery. Second, the mistake must happen within the scope of the surgeon's job duties. If the surgeon makes an error during a procedure that is part of their work, the hospital can be liable. Third, the hospital must have benefited from the surgeon's work. Hospitals gain from surgeries performed by their staff, so they are often responsible for mistakes made during those procedures. Hospitals are often held responsible for surgical errors if the surgeon is an employee. This includes situations where negligence leads to patient harm. Hospitals also have a duty to ensure their staff are qualified and properly trained. If they fail to do background checks or neglect ongoing training, they could be held responsible for those oversights. Sometimes, hospitals work with surgeons who are not their employees. These are called contracted surgeons. In such cases, the hospital might not be liable unless it can be shown that they were negligent in choosing or supervising the contractor. For example, if a hospital hires a surgeon without verifying their credentials or fails to supervise their work, they could still be held responsible. In legal cases involving surgical errors, vicarious liability can be a powerful tool for patients seeking compensation. It allows victims to sue not just the individual surgeon but also the hospital or medical facility. Since hospitals often have more resources, this can make it easier for patients to get fair compensation for medical bills, lost wages, and pain and suffering. When victims or their families pursue legal action, they usually work with a medical malpractice attorney. The lawyer will help determine if vicarious liability applies and guide the case forward. This approach helps ensure that those harmed by surgical errors can recover the damages they need to move forward.